And we continue learning Hachzek Musar Yomi Rabbeinu Yoina's Pirush on Meseches Avos. We're still holding in the second Perek, and we're up to the 14th Mishnah, which begins. Rabbi Eliezer Omer teaches Rabbi Eliezer Avi Shakud Lilmoid Torah. One should not just be Lilmoid Torah. We don't just have to learn Torah, but rather one has to be Shakud Lilmoid Torah. What does Shakud mean? Shakud means he should be diligent to learn Torah. Vidam ashetashiv is abikaris. And one has to know how to answer an abikaris. Says the Rabbeinu Yoina, what does this mean? Sheyikvas atzvul Torah. One should be kaiveya. One should study. One should learn Torah on a regular basis. Why? Kidei sheyida, in order to know, kidei sheyida lahashiv al diri abikaris. In order to answer up an abikaris, a heretic. Shem lo yeshiva kvitai nosev ishkarov. If you can't answer all those arguments, Yilmudu Oilam, the world's going to learn. And they'll drink the evil waters. When they see that the Apikaris wins, if an Apikaris is going to approach a Talmud Chacham or any Yid and be able to best him in an argument, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is people are going to think and assume that the Apikaris is right. So one has to be shakad, one has to be diligent to learn Torah in order to defeat the Abikaris. V'nimsa shem shamayim is chalav. Abikaris shabekan, who kaifer ba'Torah. What does it mean Abikaris over here? One who is kaifer ba'Torah shabal peh avoidin l'mayrin shloik halacha. Similarly, one who is mayra, one who teaches shloik halacha. Lashon Abikaris, lashon hefkerhu. And Abikaris means over here, it means hefker. Continues the Mishnah. V'tal of neyata amil. And you have to know before whom one toils. Even when you're debating, when you're answering of the Abikaire, still you have to be careful. What's going to happen? Maybe that Abikaire is going to entice, is going to lure, is going to pull in the God-fearing Jew with his smooth tongue, and you might begin to believe his words as you're going to be drawn after his opinion. You have to know before whom you are toiling, before whom we are learning Torah. In front of He, Hashem, that is test, the klayas v'leiv, the mind and the heart. When you learn Torah, you have to keep this in mind. And with this, you'll know how to answer that Abikaris. And one is Megeya, when one exerts himself to learn Torah, delight in it. It's like a toy, a shashua, that we find that Shlomo HaMelech teaches us. Hashem kanani reaches darkei kedem ifolav me'os. Hashem made me as beginning of his derech, as his path. Then I was like his amain, the nursling, the child, the baby that nurses from his mother, and I was his delight each and every day. See, Hashem delight in the Torah, so too should we. And we have to do the same. This is what Shlomo HaMelech continues in Mishlei and teaches us that we are playing Misachekes B'Sevel Artzai in the areas of this world, in the areas of Hashem's world that we live, Shashua es B'nei Adam, and our delights are the delights of, and Hashem's delights are the delights of man. Ratzalaim, what does this mean? Just as before the world was created, the Torah was the Shashua to Kadosh Baruch Hu. So too, Misachekes, it's a toy one could play with, one brings pleasure. The inhabited world and that which mankind can delight in. So we're learning that just like the Torah is the Shashua, just like the Torah is the delight, is the toy, is that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself Kaviyachol enjoyed and enjoys both pre and post the creation of the world, so too can man do the same. Continues the Mishnah, V'neman, and you should believe who should know before whom we toil, and that he that we toil in front of, Hashem, our employer, He's trustworthy that he's going to pay. He's going to pay us the reward for our pulosecha, for our work. Says Rabbeinu Yoina, one should not do the work of the Torah Ramiyah cunningly, cheating. Because Hashem is the employer, Hashem is the boss, and there's nothing hidden from in front of his eyes. And furthermore, how can you not toil in Hashem's service? You're going to have great reward. And in trustworthy, in faith, he's going to pay the reward. Even though we learned in the first Perek, one should not work, one should not learn, one should not do mitzvahs in order to get reward. Why? We only said that to overcome the Yetzer Hara, which tries to push one away from the appropriate path. It is good to keep in mind that it's going to be a reward for you, so that the Yetzer Hara does not have a stronghold to fight against you. And furthermore, they only warned so we serve Hashem not out of the reward and not out of the punishment. Just as a person has to know and study the oneness of Hashem, Ugdulasai, and His greatness, Usvunasai, and all His divine attributes, V'niflaisav, and all His wonders. Asher Asei, Kedei Loisiv Bay Ava, so that there will be greater love, Kach Chayiv Leida. So too, a person must know, Shenemanu L'Shalim Zchar Apula, that Hashem is going to pay back. Le'alois alibai, to raise in our hearts, Goydel Chasadim Shal Makam Baruch Hu, the greatness of the kindness of Hashem, Shafal Pichu Adon L'Kol Ma'isim. Even though Hashem is the master of all the creations, and He acquires everything, everything is His servant, to serve Him and to work with Him. Like a servant that acquires money without getting, like a servant who's the possession of its owner without getting any payments. The reward for our work is with us, upon Him. And still, Hashem goes beyond, and nicely, Hashem gives the love to us, and we could serve Him, we could serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, out of fear and out of love. Pick it up from the next mission, the next year, B'siyata Dishmaya.